A local group has issued a press statement. We are warning that the American embassy in Port of Spain is under threat and is calling on the government of this twin island state to publicly condemn in the strongest terms the release and the promotion of this film. We also call on the PP government to call on the American consulate in Port of Spain, Ms. Walters, to publicly apologize to the Muslims of this twin island state and to the rest of the Muslim world. This so as to change the perception of what generally concerns the Muslims. Is the U.S. embassy under threat in Trinidad and Tobago? What are we expecting to happen here?
Nothing at all. I think that's just an idle threat, and I think it should not have been said at all. I think that the Muslims in Trinidad are peaceful Muslims, and we understand that the United States government had nothing to do with this video. It happened in the United States, but just sometimes things can happen in Trinidad, which the government has no control as well. It can happen anywhere in the world. So certainly the United States embassy is under no threat, and in fact we don't condone any of the violence that took place in any of the embassies around the world, any of the U.S. embassies or German embassies or British embassies as well. So there's no threat there. I do agree, however, that it would be a good move for the government to condemn the video. Right? Of course, asking the United States ambassador to apologize, she didn't have anything to do with the video, neither did the government. So I don't. But
it's now become a U.S. issue, apparently.
Well, it has been made into a U.S. issue because it was in the United States that the video was done, as well as, you know, in the Middle East there are many issues in which the United States are involved, and there are many people who they don't like the U.S. involvement in their country and so on. So they use that as a means of protesting whenever there's an opportunity to do so. But that doesn't mean that the U.S. is actually involved in this, and the U.S. have come out themselves, the President and the Secretary of State and so on, and they've condemned the video, as you've read earlier. So therefore, we can't blame the United States, or we can't condemn the United States or the United States government for this. But certainly, you know, if in the future the United States government can prevent these things from happening, then that would be good as well, because look at the reaction. Apart from the U.S. people who have died, the Americans who have died, including the ambassador for Libya, there are also people in the Middle East who have died. And there are many who have been injured. And there was no need for this to happen, except that we know from past history, for example, when the Danish caricatures came out, that this kind of response will occur in the Middle East countries. And therefore, we should try to prevent this kind of video or anything like this coming out, not just for Muslims, but for any religion at all.
Do you think there's an orchestrated attack against the Muslim faith?
I would not doubt that there are sinister motives behind these, because everybody tries to, you know, find some reason to criticize Islam. Islam is the fastest growing religion in the world, and many people are not comfortable with that, and therefore they will try to find something to stop the growth of Islam. And if you can't attack Islam itself, because Islam is a perfect religion, then attack the messenger and make him seem as though unworthy of bringing the message.
Now, according to this release, innocence of Muslims, as it seeks to demoralize the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him and his ummah, and to deflate the efforts of the Muslims in bringing about a culture of peace and lawfulness within our community. We now take a very short break. When we come back, we're going to open our phone lines for a little bit, but we're going to continue our discussion. Innocence of Muslims. It's a film that is currently on the World Wide Web. I think the video is still on YouTube. It's a 14-minute clip that has sparked violence and outrage in the Muslim community. Stay with us. Welcome back to Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Hema Ramkisoon. Thank you so much for staying with us this morning. Innocence of Muslims. It's a film that has sparked outrage throughout the world. It's been strongly condemned by the U.S. Secretary of State, and also President Barack Obama has gotten involved. And this is following violent outbreaks in several parts of the world, and we're looking at the situation that occurred in Libya. Our phone lines are open, 624-8721, 627-8658. Ms. Ali, how is this really going to end? How do we really mend the wounds that have been inflicted on the faith of Islam?
Well, as I say, unfortunately, people are always going to be trying to attack Islam, and therefore we are probably never going to have an end to this. This is going to go down in history as another event, and there are going to be others in the future. What we can do is to, as Muslims who are sincere and straightforward Muslims who are not involved in extremism and so on, we can try to always bring the truth out. You know, for example, in this issue with the Prophet ﷺ, the Messenger of Allah, we should actually be bringing out what is the real messenger, who is the real messenger, his real life, to dispel all of these negative and wrong things that are being said about him.
Now, Imam, we have a call on the line. Quick house rules before we take our first call. Please make sure that your contributions are done in a succinct manner, and also kindly be respectful to our guests and to our viewers. Valencia, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, you're on the air.
Yes, I just tuned in a short while ago and just observing what the program is all about. Now, they say that the Prophet Muhammad is being criticized and so on and so on and so on, right? And there's a big outcry against what was done. But religion and politics and so on, criticism is something natural. And a person could criticize any religion. If the Prophet Muhammad's religion is true and so on, then they have nothing to fear. Jesus Christ himself has been criticized over and over and over again, and you don't have this great outcry. I mean, criticism is natural. If you have the truth,
thank you.
You should fear nothing.
Thanks so much, caller. Karani, good morning.
Hello, morning.
Good morning, you're on the air, Sue.
Yes, I think you said that President Obama has asked for the video to be removed from the YouTube network. Now, but he also claimed that the filmmaker must have the freedom to express themselves. So there seems to be a double standard here. And this double standard is characteristic of people who have always tried to justify an untenable position.
Right.
And I think the Indian man had a very good statement for this. He said that the white man speaks with forked tongue.
Okay, thanks so much, caller. 624-8721, 627-8658. Criticism against faith and the reaction. It is an emotional issue, attacking people's faith. But the caller made the point as to all religions are open to criticism.
Exactly. However, freedom of speech should not go into the area of criticizing other people's religions. There must be some level, there must be some standard that must be set with regard to criticism. You can't just descend into lies and half-truths and innuendos and so on. You must be talking the truth about a person. They're portraying the Prophet Muhammad as a pedophile, as a drunkard, as someone who's a homosexual. All of these things are obviously not true. We know about the Prophet Muhammad from the time he was born till the time he died. Now, we're not condoning the reaction as well. We're not saying that the violence that occurred, the protesting that occurred, the burning of embassies and destruction of property is correct. We're not saying that. But we can understand how people are emotional, because the relationship that a Muslim has with his messenger is not just a relationship of recognizing that he was a man who brought the message, but it's someone we have to love, we have to respect, we have to ask Allah to praise and bless.
Let's take a quick call from Barataria. Barataria, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, you're on the air.
Yes. At the end of the day, all religion must be protected and must be treated with a certain amount of respect. But I want to ask the question: seeing that the producer of the film is an Egyptian, is it possible he's also a Muslim? And if it is that he's a Muslim, is it that the anger is directed in the wrong direction?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the whole...
The producer of the film, maybe he was a Muslim?
No, the producer of the film is actually, according to the UK Guardian, was a... Coptic Christian, yes. That's according to the UK Guardian. We have time for a few more calls before we wrap this interview. Let's take 624-8721. Trinity, good morning.
Hi, good day.
Good day.
I am... Let's take 624-8721. Hello?
Hi, you're on the air, ma'am.
Okay. Hi, I would just like to say that I agree with this man, but then why all Muslims didn't react like those in the Far East? I think attitude has a lot to do with it. And yes, I agree with President Obama that it should be controlled by the Google removing the clip.
Right.
But I mean, at the end of the day, everybody's entitled to their opinion.
Very, very derogative against the Muslim community.
Mm-hmm.
And I was waiting to hear who was going to come out and really condemn his statement.
Right.
Right? And now I see that a film has been shown outside, and I'm hearing all kind of conflicting things. Some are against it, some saying well, they have nothing to say. But tell me where you all really stand when somebody make derogative statements, and real derogative statements against your religion, or the Muslim religion, and nobody get up and query him at all. Have a nice day.
Okay, I didn't get the gist of the contribution. Looking at the closing arguments for this, Imam, the film is not being shown in Trinidad and Tobago. Your closing comments?
Well, of course, it shouldn't be shown in Trinidad and Tobago. In fact, the government should come out and condemn this film and condemn any attempt to criticize in such a derogatory way another person's religion. We can criticize and make our comments. We're living in a free democracy, but we've got to also agree to, we can disagree without being disagreeable, and certainly descending into the level of being derogatory and denigrating the Messenger of Allah is certainly not the way that anybody should go with Islam or with any other any other religious personality as well. And therefore, we hope that this comes to an end. We hope that the protests come to an end in the embassies. I think the point has been made, the point has been shown, and hopefully this will not occur in the future.
Hopefully this will not occur in the future. I'm Hema Ramkistan. We've come to the end of this edition of the Early Morning Show, Tuesday, the 18th of September. I wish you a safe and blessed day, and I will see you tomorrow morning, God's willing. Bye.